Here's the paradox the Trump administration must face up to. To get real peace in Ukraine, Kyiv must be given significantly more weapons to wage war. And here's an even uglier fact. A Putin win in this conflict ultimately jeopardizes the U.S. itself. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. The stark truth about Vladimir Putin is that he still thinks he can win his war to control Ukraine. That's why, whatever he may say publicly, or to President Trump, or to the president's amateur special envoy, Putin has no interest in genuine negotiations to end this bloody conflict that would leave Ukraine securely independent. Putin believes he can fob off threats about sanctions from President Trump. After all, hasn't the president declared deadlines before and then backed off? The Russian dictator believes that his ghastly attrition strategy that is losing 30,000 Russians a month, combined with terror missile and drone attacks on civilians, will break Ukrainian morale and tire us in European involvement in the conflict. This will enable Putin to dictate a settlement that makes Ukraine a Kremlin vassal. He'll also be in a position to pressure Poland and reduce the Baltic nations of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia to Hong Kong-like status. Moldova, once part of the Soviet Union, will again become part of the Russian Empire in all but name. Worse, NATO will be a dead letter. European nations, facing ever stronger populist political pressures that also nurture pro-Putin tendencies, will resign themselves to appeasing the Kremlin. All this will reinforce China's perception that the U.S. no longer has the stomach to decisively lead the free world. With its own internal troubles and believing it must whip up nationalist fervor, Beijing may well take actions that could seriously risk war with the U.S. All this is why what President Trump does in coming weeks with Ukraine will have profound repercussions for America's future. What must be done is simple. Give Ukraine the means to not only hold off Russia's ground offensives, but also to push back its armies. Losing ground will shatter the belief that attrition will lead to victory. Remove all restrictions on military targets within Russia. The fact that the Pentagon has quietly imposed such restrictions only reinforces Putin's assumption that we really want to wash our hands of this war. We should impose muscular sanctions. This would include depriving Russian banks access to the critical financial infrastructure that enables banks around the world to transfer and receive funds from each other. This would include depriving Russian banks access to the critical financial infrastructure that enables banks around the world to transfer and receive funds from each other. A serious approach will also start using $300 billion in frozen Russian bank reserves to help pay for Ukrainian weapons. And speaking of payments, the U.S. further undermines its credibility with Russia and China with its new policy of not providing weapons directly to Ukraine. Rather, Washington wants to sell weapons to NATO countries and they would then transfer them to Ukraine. This does not impress anyone. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.